Hi guys, this week as part of our conventions, we're going to be learning how to not only write sentences, but we're also going to learn how to read different forms of punctuation in a sentence. So the three main types of punctuation that we've learned this year in kindergarten are the period, the question mark, and the exclamation point. So what I'm going to go over is just when we use these sentences, and then we're going to start to explain a little bit as to how we read them, which is called expression. Okay, so when you're learning how to read, you also want to look at the form of punctuation to help you decide how are you going to read that sentence. Okay, so the period, you guys, you know and understand, we use whenever we're writing a telling sentence. So if we want to tell something to someone, or if you're reading a story and you just see that just simply means that you're going to pause and you just have to read that sentence in your normal tone, your normal speaker voice, okay? A telling sentence, you use a period at the end. The question mark, boys and girls, is a little bit different. So you might see those asking words as who, when, where, what, why, or how. You might see at the beginning of an asking sentence things and examples such as what time is it? How old are you? These are all questions or asking sentences. So when we're asking a question, we always want to end our sentence with a question mark, okay? Another form of punctuation that we've talked a little bit about this year is the exclamation point. Now, the exclamation point is something we want to use when we're expressing emotion. Now, it doesn't always have to mean that we're happy, right? It could mean that, like happy birthday or great job. Then we're reading that with expression because we're showing that we're excited, we have emotion. Or it could also mean like, ouch, I just got stung by a bee. Ouch, like I'm surprised, or ooh, that really hurt. We could use that. That's a type of emotion that you might see at the end of that word, the exclamation point, because that expresses the emotion. Or look where you're going. Use that exclamation point because that might help you. Oh, you're startling someone. Someone's reminding you and giving you that heads up. Look where you're going so that you don't fall and get hurt, right? So think about all these forms of punctuation. And remember, when you read and look at these punctuation marks, that'll help you decide how are you going to read? What kind of expression are you going to have in your voice? Are you going to read a telling sentence and just pause at the end? Are you going to raise your voice up a little and kind of read in that question with that question? Like you wouldn't read it, how are you? You would say, how are you? A little bit of your voice is raising at the end just to show that you're asking that question. And then if you see that exclamation point, you know that you would read with lots of emotion and expression. Happy birthday! You look wonderful! Great job! Okay, lots of expression when you see that. All right, so I'm going to give you some different examples, and then you guys are going to be able to show me at the end of my sentence what form of punctuation would I use. Would I use my period? Would I use my question mark? Or would I use my exclamation point? So my first sentence that I'm going to read to you, I want you guys to help me. Ready? How are you? Let's read it again. How are you? So what form of punctuation would you use at the end of that sentence? Would you use a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point? How are you? If you guess the question mark, then you are right. This is an asking sentence, boys and girls. How are you needs that question mark at the end. And when I read this, if I were to see this in a sentence or in a story, I wouldn't read it, how are you? I would read it, how are you? So notice how I'm kind of raising my voice a little bit at the end to make that sound more like an asking sentence. Okay, let's do this sentence. This is just one big word, and sometimes one word can be a complete thought. So this word is congratulations. So you might hear someone say this to you if you're graduating or moving up, right? You're leaving kindergarten. Congratulations. If you know someone who's graduating high school or college, you might hear someone saying that to them. So what kind of punctuation might you use after this sentence, after this word, congratulations? Would you use a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point? Good, you're using the exclamation point. You're showing that you're happy and you're excited for that person. So you would definitely use the exclamation point at the end. And the way you would read this is with lots of expression. Congratulations! Very good. Showing excitement. And let's do our last sentence then. This last sentence reads, my dog is little. Let's read it again. My dog is little. So what form of punctuation would I use at the end of this sentence? Would I use a period for a telling sentence? Would I use a question mark for an asking sentence? Or would I use the exclamation point for an exclamatory sentence, or meaning that it shows emotion? My dog is little. Very good. This is just a telling sentence, which means that I'm only going to need to use a period at the end. Awesome job. And the way that I read this is just your normal way of reading, right? But remember, before moving on, if you see another sentence, remember this means that you have to pause before reading that next sentence. So let's read it slow. Ready? My dog is little. Very, very good. So remember this week, guys, as you're reading stories, especially your decodables this week, when you come on your little videos to read independently, think about these forms of punctuation and how you're going to read with a little bit more of expression. The period, you'll just read and pause at the end. The question mark, you're going to remember to raise your voice a little bit to sound like you're asking that question. And the exclamation point, you're going to use at the end, but remember to read that sentence with lots of emotion and expression. Great job, guys. Continue finding all these punctuation marks in your stories and remember how to read them with expression. Good job.